Understanding the unconscious is a central part in trying to explore why men might be struggling in their romantic relationships from a psychodynamic psychotherapy perspective. Hi, my name is Eric Hammer, registered psychotherapist, and my purpose and passion is helping men struggling in their romantic relationships. Today, I wanted to talk again about the idea of the unconscious playing a significant role, right, in really trying to understand the behavior in relationships that men might be struggling with when it comes to a psychodynamic perspective. And the idea with this is that the unconscious, it really emphasizes, right, this idea of that there's internal struggles and conflicts that might be creating certain behaviors for men, that there's an internalized template that a man has in terms of their thoughts around what a romantic relationship looks like based on their past relationship experiences, and then also their childhood experiences. So again, the idea from this psychodynamic psychotherapy perspective is that behavior, again, in particular with romantic relationships, that these behaviors are coming from the unconscious, that there's not necessarily an awareness, an underlying why in terms of these different aspects that we've talked about. So again, the first component I just wanted to mention here, again, from this unconscious perspective, is the idea of past relationships essentially being a template for a man's romantic relationship. So, in growing up, in how a man might have attached, right, to their loved ones growing up, this is really going to have a blueprint then in terms of what love really represents for a man, right? So, for example, if the idea is love is closeness, love is sharing, love is being vulnerable, well, that's going to set up a specific template for a man in his romantic relationship in which there's going to be this idea of coming together in struggle, reaching out when maybe struggling in a certain way, and really this template of love as closeness versus perhaps another man's experience might be that love means abandoning himself, or love means that I have to be in fear. I have to cope in a certain way to make sure that the other person has their needs met. Again, certain aspects that you might see in a dysfunctional relationship. Again, another component that I've sort of talked about here is the idea about childhood experiences in general and how this can play a really key role, these past experiences, in terms of these automatic reactions and emotions, right, that can come up for a man. And again, if there isn't an awareness around where these specific emotions come from, all of a sudden, right, our behaviors when it comes to a romantic relationship, it's just taking place automatically from this blueprint that we might have experienced in our past childhood. If there's specific trauma involved, if there are certain aspects for a man in terms of these interpersonal relationships, it's going to show up then in these romantic relationship struggles. And then finally, in another way, this idea about what's referred to as a transference. And again, what this essentially means from this unconscious perspective is that a man might unconsciously look to repeat specific patterns that the man faced again in his past, right? So if a man, for example, had an overbearing mother, right, or a mother that was dismissive in some way, the man might, again, in an unconscious way, excuse me, these past experiences into his romantic relationships. Thanks again for watching. If you have any questions or concerns, feel free to leave a comment below. And if you're a man struggling in his relationship, feel free to reach out for a free initial consultation. There's a link below. Thanks again, and have a great day. Take care.